Hi, I'm Bob Marcenich with Glacier HR Services, and I help people solve people problems at work. And what I want to talk about today is the 4 cornerstones of stress management. And what I'm going to suggest is if you do these 4 things, it'll help you manage your stress on a long-term basis. And the first one is you have to be aware of yourself. Know thyself. You know, Abraham Maslow said that the way to change a person is to change their awareness of themselves. And that's exactly what I'm talking about here. You can't manage your stress if you don't know what's stressful to you. You know, spiders might not be stressful to anybody else, but if they're stressful to you, then that's how your body's going to respond every time you see a spider. So you have to know what makes you stressful, what stresses you out, what doesn't, and then respond accordingly. The second cornerstone of managing stress is to have a compelling vision of the future no matter what. You know, they found that prisoners of war in the First, Second World War and the Korean War, they found that in the Korean War, people died at a much higher rate than they did in the other 2 wars. And one of the reasons was they did have a compelling vision of the future. They found that the people that had a compelling vision of the future and held on to that, they were much, much more likely to survive because they told themselves, you know, I'm going to get out of here someday and I'm going to go back and do this with my family or with my career or with my life or whatever. So having that compelling vision of the future is so very, very important if you're going to manage stress. The other thing is make sure that you take responsibility. And I like to say it that way and articulate it or conceptualize it as that concept that you're taking responsibility. And responsibility is your ability to respond to a situation. So if you have the ability to respond to something and you believe you do, you're going to do much better than if you feel like you're overwhelmed or you can't manage this or I can't handle this. So keep that idea and that mindset of I have the ability to respond to whatever life gives to me. I might not be able to do it immediately or right away, but over time, little by little by little, I'll be able to handle this situation and take care of it. The last one is you have to vent stress outside of yourself. If you don't vent it outside of yourself, it eats away at you. The way that I describe it is, you know, stress is a mind-body response. So it's just like taking your finger and going like this and saying, go on, blood, get out of here. Because that's one of the things that happens during the stress response is the blood comes from the extremities of the body to the center of the body. So it's just like doing this to your finger. Now imagine if you do that, you know, to your finger for 5 minutes and then you vent the stress and get it outside of yourself. You're not going to be too bad. But what if you just keep doing this and you don't vent the stress and you don't externalize it? Pretty soon you're going to have to change and start using other fingers. So make sure that you vent stress externally, that you get it outside of yourself. The way that I define that is you know that you're venting stress externally in a healthy way if you're not hurt, no one around you is hurt, and nothing around you is hurt. That means you're not throwing stuff and breaking it. You're not attacking someone and making them have more stress than you have. You're not, you know, cutting on yourself or putting yourself down or anything like that. You're expressing it externally in a healthy way. And so much of stress is emotion, and I like that word emotion. It's another word that I play with, is emotion. That tells you that your emotions need movement or motion. Once again, you got to get it outside of yourself. You have to express it by laughing, by crying, by yelling, by screaming, by pounding on a pillow, by going for a physical run and running hard. All of those kinds of things can manage your stress in a positive way. So make sure that you know yourself. Make sure that you have a compelling vision of the future. Make sure that you take responsibility and make sure that you vent the stress in a healthy way outside of yourself where you're not hurt, no one around you is hurt, and nothing around you is hurt. So if you like this kind of information, please press the like button. If you'd like to see more of this information on an ongoing basis in your inbox, then subscribe, because that'll keep that information coming to you. If you have a comment or a question, by all means leave that, because that's the primary way I know how to make the videos better and better. I know what you're thinking, I know what's resonating with you, I know what you like, what you dislike, and all of that is so very, very helpful. So please leave comments and questions. Until next time, have fun at work, be present in everything that you do, and for sure laugh here and there, now and then.